experience the full power of the dark side. Good!
We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
What the? Ah! Misa back!
Prepare to fire!
Oh no!
Hello and welcome back to Star Wars Beyond the Stars for episode number 12, recorded on Monday, November 10th, 2014. I'm your host, Fred, aka Sith Lord Corv. And joining me tonight is my friend and veteran, Louis Olan.
Hello, Fred. Thank you for the intro. Hello, Twitch. Hello, Tube. Hello from Imperial Intelligence.
So do you get to celebrate Veterans Day double, one for the Army and the other one for Imperial military?
You know, I'll have to look into that, but I'm sure it could probably be done.
I'm sure you could probably just go into Panera and pick 4 tomorrow.
And see what happens.
Pick 4? I want that to be a thing. I'm like, give me all the soup you have.
It is a thing. Brought to you by the Ohio Lottery.
And can you imagine I get the one store, the one Panera branch that actually has Star Wars fans saying, oh yeah, here you go. Sweet.
Jackpot. And then a Rancor.
Only puts him out.
And Paige is here as well.
Oh, yeah, and Paige. Hi, everyone.
And then, of course, we were contractually obligated to bring ID10T. And Shriek.
Goopa noopa.
Ugh. Get that out of your mouth.
Goopa noopa.
What is that? What is in her mouth? Is that mine?
Looks like one of Fred Core's lightsabers. Oh, ill. I wouldn't touch that if I were you.
Oh my god, that was 900 PvP comms.
Not anymore. Any more left? She might up.
Now it's not worth anything.
I have no apprehensions about cutting down more Republic to get out of the lightsaber. I just so happen to have a portable lightsaber in the other room that I can use for that end. I believe you call it a curler.
My curling iron?
Yes. I hit Lou with it the other day. I put a nasty scalding mark on his arm.
That was you.
I got out of there before he woke up.
Don't touch my things. Stay out of my side of the ship. I made the line on the floor with the tape. That side's yours and this side is mine. Don't touch anything over here. I don't touch your nasty things.
Treek licked that line up hours ago.
Me too.
Should have known better than to make a line with mustard.
I don't know, that wasn't mustard, but I'll put one down in spray paint so you know to stay on your side.
Well, you're not going to tell me it's antifreeze from ID10T. I already tried giving Treek a gallon of that. It just made her stronger. Right, Lou?
Yeah, I'm still shocked about that. I could have sworn it would have worked.
Is her belly supposed to glow in the dark like that?
No.
I'm disturbed by how much glows in the dark when there's a black light on this ship.
I'm sorry. Occasionally, my implants like to ooze various chemicals.
You know, I think I have a job for ID10T and for 2V. Alright.
2VI.
10T some 409.
NC2 and 2. We're gonna use them all. We're gonna have to use them all. but we're gonna have to use them all.
Gotta use them all. Dun,
Ship-
dun, dun, dun.
A ship this size, we have to use them all.
Speaking of using them all, let me tell you of all the different ways you can get a hold of us.
You can find out more about our show at StarWarsBeyond.com. We're also available on iTunes, on Stitcher Radio, and you can find us at SWTORNetwork.com. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast, or tweet us at StarWarsBeyond. And we record this show live on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, usually at twitch.tv/NoSHTGaming. But tonight we were having some definite issues with Twitch. There's a problem with the service tonight. Hopefully it'll be working and we'll be able to do the show live again next week. Sorry everybody that was looking forward to listening in live. We really wanted you to be here. And Paige, what's coming up in the Captain's Log tonight?
Coming up in the Captain's Log, we have our last week in game. We have Agent Olan's Intelligence Report, where Lou will present Lightsaber Combat Part 4. Plus, the weekly winner of the Agent's Star Wars Trivia Question of the Week, and your feedback in our community holo feed.
As always, we do have something quick to mention. And this is coming from Tate Watson on Switcher's main website. And this is from Friday, the 7th, where Tate says, "Hey everyone, we will be taking the servers offline on November 11th in order to apply Game Update 2.10.3. The website will also be unavailable during this time." So again, the date is tomorrow, or on the 11th, Tuesday, 2014. Time is from 2 a.m. Pacific to 8 a.m. Pacific, or 10 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time till 1600 Greenwich Mean Time. For version 2.10.3. See, I'm losing track of the numbers now. Thank you for your patience.
Already one too many digits in that.
Exactly.
2.10. Come on, losers.
So, folks, 6-hour maintenance tomorrow.
6 hours to flip a switch and bring the bounty contract event back.
Well, yeah, I mean, we do have some more to mention. We do have some highlights for tomorrow's patch. And one of the highlights is definitely Bounty Contract Week returns. So as you're listening to this, Bounty Contract Week is in effect. Hunt wanted criminals in this returning event. The event begins November 11th at 4 a.m. Pacific and ends November 18th. Wow. At 4 a.m. Pacific. And I do have a couple of quick notes to mention here. Guild flagships will no longer vanish into the inky abyss of space. So players will no longer have access to them, or lose access to them. The pending mission reward queue now has a cap of 3 missions. Players are no longer able to accept shared missions when the pending mission reward when at the pending mission reward cap. Players can no longer queue for Group Finder when they or one of their party members is at the pending mission reward cap. Well, that sucks.
Okay, so they made a bunch of changes because people are too lazy to take things out of their pending rewards. This is going to take 6 hours.
Or go to a vendor and just sell off all the trash, or somewhere the companions sell trash.
Hey, wait a minute. You know that they're really joshing us now. Look at this next note.
The cartel market. Balanced combatants bracers no longer clip through the forearms on male body type 3.
Sorry, body type 4. They still clip just fine.
And for missions and or NPCs, troopers on Belsavis now receive valuable experience for completing the mission Overwhelming Force.
I'm sure that would have helped Paige about 2 days ago.
Yeah, probably. If we read your gameplay.
It'll be okay.
Speaking of Paige and 2 days ago, moving into the Captain's Log, what did you do over the last week, Paige? I see you've written a novel here.
I have not. It's not a novel. I played that random sage that I made a little bit. Light side's kind of boring, but I'll see where it goes. I didn't play her too much because I had other priorities in game, and I just kind of dabbled on her a little bit here and there when I wasn't focused on another character. For gameplay night, Fred, Lou, and I did Forged Alliances Part 2. That's the Depths of Manon Flashpoint Tactical. Fred told us to jump in the water when we went inside to see what would happen. So Lou and I did.
Well, you refused to for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I told Lou to do it, and he did. And then, when I made him do that, of course, I was going to jump after him.
I did. I was like, okay, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to make Lou do it. Lou, you jump first. So Lou jumps, Fred jumps, and then I jump. I call that peer pressure. And it reminds me of when my parents would ask me when I was a little kid, they'd be like, well, if so-and-so jumped off a bridge, would you do it too? And I always said no.
And now the answer is obviously, apparently.
My answer is a resounding yes. Because I was a little liar. I like to follow, I guess. I mean, I saw what happened to them, but I was like, I have to do it too.
Want some Jawa juice, Lou?
I would love some Jawa juice.
Never accept anything from him. You should know this. Imperial intelligence, Lou. Come on, man.
It's been filtered by my implant. It's perfectly safe.
We're going back to Carbon right now.
Where's the medical droid?
Moving on. Fred was on his operative, I was on my assassin, and Lou was on his warrior. Lou, is your warrior a marauder?
Yes.
I thought so, but I didn't want to say that and be wrong. So Lou was on his marauder, and we did not pug a fourth person for this flashpoint. We let Fred pull out whichever companion he felt like. Sometimes it was HK, sometimes it was Doc, sometimes it was Vector. And Lou, why do we keep letting him do that?
I don't know. I mean, I one of these days we should just we'll take ours out.
What's ironic about that is I don't have a single companion that has a single piece of armor that's above rating 100.
Which is why I asked, why do we keep letting him bring out companions?
What's the matter with that? I mean, HK's wearing like 116s. He came with those, though. So I unequipped 3 pieces just so it's even with the others.
But because of this, 3 players and 1 companion, we tried to be careful on our trash pulls to keep things going smoothly. But the barrels that you kick in the flashpoint that have, I guess, Colto in them, they're helpful, but they aren't always easy to see when you have all these effects flying around. You know, there's lightning everywhere, there's this and that, healing, Colto going off everywhere. So I found that when we needed to kick one of those, if I was looking for one, I was struggling to find one, even when they were, within reach, just because I couldn't see them. So I don't know if they could maybe make them brighter or maybe make them more visible. I mean, you're moving your mouse around while at the same time trying to defend yourself against a bunch of mobs. They're just too hard for me to see.
It also doesn't help that the achievement doesn't count when your group members kick them, so I was going around and ninjaing them before you and Lou could get to them. And then they were all broken when we needed them in a fight.
Yeah, pretty much that's what's happening.
We can't take you anywhere, Fred. We can't.
Can't help. What's that smell?
It must be your upper lip. I don't know.
Damn it, Drake! Where's my respirator?
Anyway, if you want to stop interrupting me,
I don't want to.
you're going to have to, or I'm going to have to shoot you in the foot.
Whatever.
When we reached the first boss, I'm not sure if I'm saying this name right, Cirisi, or maybe Cirisi, I'm not sure. We ended up using our tried and true method kiting approach, and he went down pretty easily. I kept him and his 2 droids taunted, even though I'm not a tank, and just ran in circles and DPS them down as we do when we struggle with tank and spank fights. Easy peasy. However, the second boss, Ortuno, proved to actually be a challenge for us. There were wipes. Many wipes. Handle it. We just couldn't really seem to find our groove for the longest time. Luckily, it wasn't things like standing in the poo, or more specifically, the AoE energy disruption where the lightning comes down from the ceiling. We didn't really struggle with things like that. The issue seemed to be out healing and out DPSing the fight. Eventually, though, through some serious communication on our part, we were able to take him down. And it sounded like a raid in Skype to me. Like when I used to raid on World of Warcraft, we were calling out what we were doing, where we were going, who was on what cooldown, who was stunned, who was hitting Colto, when and where the ads were spawning, and it really gave me a rush because it's been a long time since I've been challenged like that, and I really like those types of challenges. And lastly, Fred and I played my commando and his gunslinger. We took them to McKeb and blew through that dumpy planet in a single evening to get to level 55.
Oh, lucky you.
I I do need to finish my class story now, though. I went straight from... Oh, Shucky Ducky, where was I? I think I just have Corellia, right, Fred?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's it. I'm at the last part, home stretch. I did max my affection with Auric Jorgen, which led to a romance that Fred makes fun of me for. I can't blame him, though, because Auric wants to have a litter of kids with my Miri Allen, which is disgusting. I'm like a little kid, and it's like watching your parents or something. It's like you want them to love each other, but when they say mushy stuff or disgusting things, or even worse, like when they kiss, I just want to throw up in my mouth. Like, I want them to love each other, but just not in my face. I did get him to 10k, though, but I did take an affection hit with him at the end of McKeb because my character is Darkside, and I made a pretty horrible choice. I actually didn't think it was that horrible, but apparently everyone else did. And I had been seeing, like, minus 12 affection, you know, when I was saying kind of some nasty things here and there after I'd maxed him out, but I always checked the window, and he always stayed at 10k, but not when I made that decision on McKeb. I took a big chunk of affection. It was like 500 something. I think it was like 575 I took, and he sure didn't like that because his affection actually went down. And I figure finishing up my class story will fix that. You know, I'll gain affection by making whatever decision. And my final comment about that is that it seems relatively easy to max affections on the trooper, and perhaps it's my playstyle on that particular character because I do play all my characters differently. But it seems like if I choose the most brief sort of, yeah, I got it response, my affection goes up on all of my companions. And to elaborate on that, if Garza tells me to go to a place and to do a thing, I can say something like, yes, sir, for the Republic. And all the companions, minus Tano Vic, they just eat that up. They love it. My alternative responses to her tend to be something to the effect of, tell me about the people and the thing I'm doing, which I don't want because I don't want to hear her just spew out all the details. Do the thing, got it, or something like, if I were to say something rude, like, I believe this is a waste of time, while I actually may believe that, verbalizing it only makes the quest giver explain exactly why it isn't a waste of time, thus wasting more time. So it's not that serious to me. So with my kind of, yeah, hurry up and tell me where to go and what to do playstyle on that character, all of my companions seem to have decent affection with me. And I guess it's because that appears to be an eagerness to serve, when in reality it's kind of like a cut the crap and let's get this Shaduki show on the road. And companions, I've noticed on other characters, they're really picky about what you say. I mean, one response on my trooper and I get plus, 30 or 40 affection across all characters, mostly minus Tano Vic. But on any other character, saying something on the ship, like when I'm speaking to the holo terminal, somebody loses 12 affection, somebody gains 60, somebody gains 40, someone has minus 2. They're really picky about what you say and do, which is why I have to give them gifts like all the time. Don't feel like that's a problem though on the trooper. Anybody else get that?
Yeah, because I have a trooper as well at 55 on my Vanguard, and I think out of all the classes, just the class, not the advanced class, just the classes themselves, the trooper, I think, is the luckiest in terms of all the trooper's companions come from the same military background, essentially. Yep. So it's easier, and it actually makes more sense when you actually look at it, that the trooper gets that across the board because they all faithfully serve the Republic. They're all loyal to the Republic. Yeah, they have their issues, but in the end, they're going to do what's right. And so if you play your trooper like light side and you're totally, completely patriotic, gung ho, for the Republic type mentality, and you choose all those decisions that reflect that, and then it is very easy for your trooper to either get halfway or more than halfway across the board with all your companions, except Tano for some reason. Although you will gain some.
My favorite.
Well, back to Tano Vic, I am Darkside, but I started when he actually became my companion with negative affection with him. Because when I met him, I punched him in the face because he was a smart mouth, and I don't tolerate that crap. So I punched him in the face, and he didn't like that. So I don't even know if I have positive affection with him right now, because everything I've been saying, like, oh yes sir, for the Republic, he doesn't care for that stuff. But it's just me trying to skip over what I believe to be useless information.
And it's not like you really care what Tano thinks of you anyway. You're never gonna take him off the ship.
He's
Probably
gonna stay
not.
One spot on the ship, gathering dust.
Just like Lou's Brune Mark and everybody else that's weird that Lou decides never to use.
Come on. I am trying to gear up Pierce. Okay.
Well, Pierce is awesome. That's who I use on my Juggernaut.
One of these days I will get around to, using Jace one day.
I used her for probably about a week when I first got her, and then I'm like, yeah, right, she's not really that great, especially when you're DPS too. Like, no. And plus, mine's all light side, so she just, yes, master, yes, master. And she was bugged at first, so she's light side, and she's going, oh, the thrill of the kill. And I'm like, really? Really, Jason? Is that what they taught you back on Tython? Really?
For shame.
Are you having fun? I'll impale you. Okay. Whatever.
Hey, little psycho Jedi, go away.
So, what were you up to for the last week, Lou?
Well, as always, I'm always trying to build up my credit pool across all my characters because I need to upgrade across the board for all of them. So I've been doing a lot of that lately. And however, now that we know that Bounty Contract Week's coming back tomorrow, I think I know what I'm doing with all my characters that can run that event. I'll be primarily focusing on that and then catching up with the other stuff later on. I also recreated my Imperial Agent on Shadowlands. I know I was getting around, I mentioned it last week, but the one I created for some reason I didn't like how she looked, so I deleted her, started over again.
So, well, wait a minute. Was she a human?
Yes.
And you didn't like how she looked?
Yeah, because I figured, you know what? 'Cause I actually recreated how my agent looks on Jedi Covenant on Shadowlands, and then when I started playing with her a couple of days, I realized, you know what? No, let me try something else. So I tried, I want to just give her a completely different look.
Why didn't you go to the customization and fix her up?
Well, didn't have the money.
All those dailies you do, and you couldn't fix that port. Oh,
you
different
have to
server.
use
My
cartel.
bad.
Yeah,
You
it's
have
a
to use
one on
cartel
Shadowlands.
coins at the.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not doing.
I didn't. It slipped my mind that we were talking about you being on the other server.
Yeah,
My
it's on
bad.
the server,
Well,
and I'm not going to waste them on.
It doesn't matter about the other server anyway. He has to use cartel coins to use the appearance kiosk.
Oh.
He can't use credits,
Yeah.
which is a whole other issue in and of itself.
Yeah, which is a whole nother discussion point, which I won't get into. But yeah, suffice to say, I wasn't about to do. That's one aspect I don't like. It's like I'd rather just use like any other game. I can use in-game credits, in-game money. For example, if I hop on World of Warcraft, I can just use gold. If I play EverQuest 2, I just use gold.
If you play EverQuest 1, you just press a button and pay nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Other games do it, and I don't see why they don't do it here. But again, that's a whole other discussion point.
Oh, I see why they don't.
Oh,
I
well,
like the reason. Oh.
yeah, true, but we won't get into that just now.
Yeah, well, we have a discussion topic slot open. Go ahead.
Yeah, and even though I recreated this character, and then realized that in less than a month, Shadows of Revan comes out, so I may hold off on investing a lot of time into her or into these characters, any of the new characters I make right now, because of all the pending class changes. And same thing goes with my scoundrel. I created a scoundrel on Shadowlands, just level 14, but past couple days I realized, what, I don't want to go too far because then, I don't want to have to go through a major class change and I have to essentially relearn the class over again. I'd rather just take it as it comes. It's easier for me to do it that way, at least for me. Also, as Paige mentioned earlier on, we did run all three ran Forged Alliances Part 2 on Manon. Got to see more of the creepy Sith lady.
We have so many negative things to say about her appearance. I feel like such a jerk.
I wouldn't say we're being jerks. It's just the fact that, with how I guess for me, a lot of the NPCs you deal with in the game, they look good. I mean, they you can tell they actually went and spent some time on these characters that you speak to in the cutscenes, interact with in the cutscenes, and they look decent. They look like someone you would roll on a server. However, like the very first time we were introduced to, her character. What the hell's her name? I'm brain.
Lana Benico.
Yeah, Lana Benico's character. And the first thing you notice is that her entire, for me at least, like her face is out of proportion. Like her eyes are way too sunk in her head, or there's something wrong. Like her eyelashes, her eyebrows.
I can help you. I can help you with this because I'm a girl. She has very fair skin and very, very fair hair. But she cakes on this black, disgusting eyeliner all over her face, but doesn't bother to fill in her blonde eyebrows at all. So her forehead looks gigantic because her eyebrows aren't framing her face. Her eyes look really tiny because she's just put black all over them. And then her lips just look dry. How do her lips look dry? I have chapstick she can have.
I feel like right about now is when Jay Connell would be asking a stupid question in the chat. So, the question that Jay didn't ask because the chat isn't here, Lou, do you find it hard to level the same characters that you've already leveled on another server over on Shadowlands now?
No, I don't. Because for me, at least the way I play in MMOs, once I actually learn a class, I'll get one class to max, or if it's the same areas, questing areas across the board, then I find as time goes on, I progress faster and faster with alts. Because, just like here, like I already know exactly what's going to happen on Droman Kaz. I know what's going to happen on Nar Shaddaa. Regardless if I'm playing my agent, my marauder, my sorcerer, or power tech, I know exactly how the quests run. The only difference are the class quests. Everything else is the same. So yeah, I know exactly where I have to go for. If we're on Nar Shaddaa, if we're doing the heroics there, or just the regular planet quests, it's easier.
No, Jay, that's okay. It's a good question, and I know if you were here, you really would have asked that. All right. Go ahead and continue, Lou.
Yeah, but as Paige said, her. I really think that when whoever created this character for these tactical flashpoints, I think the art department should just go back and just redo her and make it to where she actually looks somewhat I would say acceptable, because she kind of looks like someone hit the randomize button on character creator and we came up with this mess.
Build Lana on the KOTOR 1 engine?
Exactly. It looks like someone just hit button, randomize, and finish.
You can't even randomize.
You can't even make a character look like that, though. Someone did that on purpose. And I don't want anybody to be like, oh, yeah, you guys are jerks, blah, judging women based off their appearance. She's also creepy. She's creepy and she's ugly. I don't care what anyone says.
And you can flirt with her, and she touches you if you flirt with her.
It's
like, you actually flirted with her?
No, don't touch me.
By accident, I was just trying to get through the cutscene, and she touched me.
Click, exit, spacebar.
I had to, just like the advice for the Rackle event, I had to arrange my immediate incineration.
I love those announcements in the spaceports, by the way.
Thank God awesome. My new chest piece has a scarf. She didn't touch skin.
But yeah, I mean, I don't want to come off ever. Being superficial, that's not what my intention here. My intention here is that it really looks like whoever created her character needs to go back and fix it, because it looks totally, to me, out of alignment. They're just not working properly.
Looks like whoever made her character needs to go back to art school.
Well, all right, I was trying to say that, but all right, since the Sith Lord said it, that's fine.
That's right.
You can take the heat for that.
Good. I'm already gonna take heat because that Jay Connell question. He wasn't even here.
Exactly.
Just wait, I'll work Buckeye into this at some point. Oh wait, I just did.
Yeah, and with Manon, since we started that tactical flashpoint.
Manon.
Yes. It was the first time I had ever been. I ran that flashpoint. So the first time I actually setting foot, so to speak.
Admittedly, you like had a nerdgasm when we went there.
Yeah,
really
I'm
did.
actually.
God, Manon!
Yeah, I actually first got there. No kidding, folks. When I actually loaded, I was like, "Oh my god, this is Manon."
He was walking around. He's like, "Look over here."
Yeah,
look.
I like a little kid in a candy store looking around. It's like, "This is Manon." I haven't seen Manon since playing Knights of the Republic, and to see, of course, gosh, how many years has it been now? Over 10 years since KOTOR came out.
I like how when we got there was a sign. It was like, "Don't jump in the fountains," and I was like, "What happens if you jump in the fountains?" So I had to. Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. It would have been funny if the Cellcast security police came out and said, "Oh, get out of the fountain."
If they
try to
like
attack you.
death touched me, they're like, "Get out of the fountain."
Because
funnier. Some of those white droids just came out and sniped you as soon as you step in the water.
Well, see, that's what I was expecting because for those who played Knights of the Republic 1, remember when you first go to Manon, when you leave the spaceport, before you leave the spaceport, you're given kind of a briefing from security as to what you can and cannot do in Otto City. All right, they give you the lowdown, and pretty much you're, restricted where you can go, what you can do. No fighting is allowed. All right. So I was expecting that when we first saw that sign page up in the fountain, I was like, "Oh, watch! It'd be funny if security droids came out or armed guards came out and they tried to arrest her, try to kick her out of the city because she violated the rules." Because that's pretty much how the Cellcath were in KOTOR.
What can I say? I'm a rebel. Who also apparently will jump off a bridge if you tell me to.
And you also fly a ship for the Empire for the right price.
I do what I have to do.
Mm-hmm. But as I was saying, yeah, Manon, it looks great. I really like what the devs did in bringing Manon into the story, and I think also one of the comments I did say to Fred and Paige as well before we start the flashpoint was, "What the hell? They should do the game like they should retouch the old zones like this."
It is beautiful there.
Yeah, they really should go back and over time, I really think they should retouch all the zones, the star zones. If they could look that good, that clear, that sharp, it would be amazing.
It'd be amazing if they could make some of the chess pieces look that clear and sharp.
Yes, it would. But if they can do that with Manon, I really think they can go back and gradually over time, they can touch up Corellia, they can touch up, Nar Shaddaa, make it look even better. Because if they can do it with Manon, I know they can do it with the older zones. And make the game come up, that much higher for looks. But moving on from looks, I think we did pretty well. I mean, yeah, we were there for a while because there were only 3 of us, and we were using a companion. But considering we were just running 3 and a companion, we took our time, and there were some frustrating moments, but at least we were able to, we worked through them. I mean, God, if we were just 3 pugs trying to run this thing, I think we would have quit a long time ago.
Oh yeah, there would have been so many rage quits.
Oh my God, we were in that flashpoint for like 5 hours.
Was it that long?
Yes, because we started just after 7 o'clock at night, and we didn't get done till almost
11?
midnight.
No, we were done by a little after 11. But yeah, but remember, we were also, again...
All right, so it was 4 hours. That's still a hell of a long time for a tactical flashpoint.
Right? Considering...
Designed to take 45 minutes in a group.
Yeah, in a group of actually 4 people.
But the last boss was the hardest one on us. Because we couldn't get the DPS to beat the 5-minute timer.
Oh,
Well-
I didn't even talk about that guy with the fire.
Yeah, I mean...
Fine.
Well, him and the guy before him, yeah, those 2 gave us the biggest problems. Especially the fact that gosh, the second to last boss, that one Cellcath we were taking on,
Or Tuno?
Tuno, was the fact that, of course, Fred's companion, and everyone knows what the companions are like. All right, the AI script is pretty much stupid, and you know what's going to happen. They're either going to die, do something crazy, or in the end, it just becomes just the three of us.
They like to stand in the poo.
Exactly, because they like to stand exactly where they're not supposed to, or they attack the wrong thing, or whatever. So, of course, in the end, like after maybe 5 minutes, it just boils down to just Fred Page and I taking on the boss and all the ads in all these fights.
At one point, we were going to try a different setup, and Lou was going to get on his healing operative, but then we realized that his Marauder had done the first part of Forged Alliance's quest with us, so his operative couldn't jump in mid-quest and still have him complete the quest.
Right, so we figured let's just figure out what's going on, stick it out, and finish it, and which we did.
But I'm glad, though, that you didn't switch, because we would have really had a DPS problem in that last boss with 2 operatives.
Yeah, because my operative yours is a hybrid, but can still heal, but mine is pure. My operative is pure heals. I mean, she has her damage is negligible.
Well,
she's not going to run any DPS races, put it that way.
Mine isn't that great either, because he's not half concealment. He's half into the lethality.
Yeah, it's lethality. Okay.
So
wow,
that isn't exactly great DPS.
When I was looking up the name of what we did, I knew it was Forged Alliances, but I couldn't remember if it was called like Manon Depths or Depths Manon. I was looking that up. You actually don't have to do Forged Alliances Part 1 to do Part 2. You can just physically fly there or travel there and walk in.
Oh, yeah, it's like that for any tactical, but for the quest chain we were doing, if you don't do the first part, you can't do the second part of the quest. The one that gives you the HK customization.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's why it's better that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a quest chain, and there's still one more part that we haven't done yet that takes us to Rakata Prime.
Mm-hmm. Which we have to finish. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that'll be our gameplay video.
Let's keep that in mind.
We'll have to see.
Yes.
Depends on how bad we do.
Yeah. We may just have to go back and I will hop on my operative or my Sork.
Hour and a half video of us just wiping over and over again.
Well, I could also bring my sorcerer because she's also spec heals. But I think
you got to bring that Marauder though, because part 3 of the quest.
Yeah. Damn. Oh well.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out somehow. Also, for the past few days, having some issues with the class change information, especially with the live streams. At least for me today and last night, I was having issues with Twitch, so I couldn't catch up because I actually missed it on Friday. So I actually couldn't watch it live. I mean, I was able to read the blogs that they put up, but it's nothing beats actually seeing the dev answer and actually seeing the in-game footage that they were showing of the changes themselves. And one of the biggest problems I have is the fact that we are today's the 10th of November that we're recording this. So whenever you listen to this, seeing it, okay, Shadows of Revenant comes out when? December 9th. We're less than a month away now.
Well, December 2nd, early access.
Well, early access, but for the rest of the player base, yeah. So in essence, yeah, less than a month for both early access and for the rest of the player base that picks it up. And we pretty much still have nothing solid, concrete to go on. Okay? The player base, for me, at least it looks to me when I read the forums, that a lot of people are still in the dark, except for obviously the beta testers. But remember, it's closed, so they can't really say anything anyway. And, people are speculating. So what do you get? You're getting a lot of confusion. Players going wild because they're speculating, because what do we have? We pretty much have nothing. And to me, this is one of the things I detest from BioWare, is the fact that they are always so tight-lipped about what they're doing.
Unless you get one of them drunk at a cantina.
Right.
Then they'll spill all kinds of spoilers.
But, the point I'm trying to make is the fact that we're less than a month away, and yet the player base has nothing solid to go on. Okay, no one from, who plays, Vanguard, Power Tech, Mercenary, Scoundrel, Operative, Assassin can say, I know exactly what's happening in my class 3.0.
Let's be realistic, though. Even if you watch a live stream where they show all the changes that are going to happen to your class, nothing is going to prepare you for when you actually get your hands on that class with the changes. Especially when they're talking about, like, damage is going to be downscaled, healing is going to be downscaled. You're going to be thinking about these changes in context of how the game plays right now. Mm-hmm. With all these changes and stuff, you're not going to be able to prepare until you actually get your hands on it.
Right, but at the very least, we should be able to go to the main Solitaire site and say, this is the discipline tree for the assassin. Right, this is the tree for the scoundrel. This is the tree for, the commando. An exact not an outline, folks. This is exactly what has happened to your class 3.0, so that players can now start planning, changes. Because we're all theory crafters, whether we admit it or not, because we always want to do our best. So we're going to start tinkering. And I think what's going to happen is that, for those players who weren't fortunate to be beta testing, a good round of players are going to be, I won't say lost, but there's always going to be that rough transition time between actually seeing those changes go live and seeing what exactly it does to your playstyle, and then, of course, allowing players to adjust their playstyle to the changes that will impact us in 3.0.
I agree with you. My personal opinion, though, I'm somewhat glad that they're being kind of tight-lipped about the expansion, because when it actually hits for me on December 2nd, I want to get in there and I want it to actually feel new and not like something I've been studying for the last month and a half.
Yeah, I mean, there is that as well. I mean, the newness factor and, quite honestly, the effect of... you just get the information now. You know the changes are coming, but it's going to be a surprise, I guess.
I know with this 12 times XP, even though I have a few more characters I want to top out before the expansion hits, I'm looking forward to after the expansion gets here and I can actually level another character up the old-fashioned way again. I miss doing all the planetary quests, but I can't bring myself to do it when they're gray, and it's just impairing my ability to level quickly on those characters.
Yeah, I mean, it's a waste of time, kind of, because it's just extra. You'd rather just focus on leveling up a character and just getting out of there.
Yeah, I can't make myself do anything I think is a waste.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why BioWare did it, because they want players to have, as many 55s as possible to experience, I guess, the SOR content, but still, it's like, hey, there are players, who've asked in the forums, like, why couldn't they make it an option if you did buy it? Maybe I didn't want to do 12 times XP because I still have characters I want to play.
Interestingly, on the last episode of the Bad Feeling podcast, one thing they talked about was people that were brand new to the game, and then they see in the cash shop or somewhere else in the game the advertisement to pre-purchase Shadow of Revan. Imagine if you were a brand new player to this game and you pre-purchased Shadow of Revan and you're a subscriber, and all of a sudden you're getting 12 times XP and you don't know how to play any class in this game because you're a brand new player.
Yeah, and hopefully those players they'll learn, they'll adjust. Hopefully they'll have friends or guilds that will help them through that process.
I mean, I'm sure they have to be in the minority if that does happen, but it was an interesting point that they brought up, and I liked their discussion about it.
Well, it is a good point, because, there are... So, although some people don't believe it, there are always going to be brand new players to the game. It's not going to be someone's alt that you always see on a low level character. You'll actually do meet those people who are brand spanking new to the game. You have no idea what's going on, but they like Star Wars, or they like the fact that it's a science fiction MMO and they want to play it. And so, they're in the dark.
Yeah, and I know there's been a game or two in the past where I just started playing it, and they have a new expansion or add-on coming out, and it's cheap enough that I'm like, you know what? I'm having fun with this game. I'll go ahead and buy that. And this 12 times XP thing, I've never seen any game ever do this before. So if I had just been starting SWTOR, which if I was just starting SWTOR now, I was a bad Star Wars fan. But if I was, and I bought that, and all of a sudden I'm just leveling up super fast, I'm going to be confused, for one. Two, I'm going to be out leveling the planet, so I'm just going to want to keep going with my class story, because that story is amazing. And I'm going to end up at 55 in no time, and I'm going to have crap gear and basically no money.
Right, and then trying to do stuff at your level, and then inadvertently probably catching flack from other players who are, at level, who are geared, who do have the knowledge, and like, what is this guy's problem? What is this person's problem?
Well, that's if you even know what to do at your level. You
Right.
might get up to 55, you finish the class story, which immediately takes you to Ilum, so then you finish the Ilum story, maybe find your way to McKeb, but once you're done with the storyline, you're just going to be kind of standing around like, what now?
Dailies, flashpoints, operations.
But those things aren't plainly obvious. You wouldn't find them if you're a new player and you're not really associating with other people that are telling you.
True. But
Just
hope.
interesting food for thought there.
Hmm.
It seems like there should have been some kind of prerequisite, like you needed to have a character of a certain level before 12 times XP kicked in. Because you could, in theory, have a brand new SWTOR account, subscribe, and pre-order the expansion, and level up your very first character with 12 times XP.
Mm-hmm. Or, at the very least, like I mentioned before, give players options. So that if you had the veteran player or the brand new player, if they knew, oh, well, you know what, this is what's going to happen. You have the ability to turn on 12 times XP, meaning you earn 12, XP 12 times faster. 12 times the gain. For veteran players, like us, we could say, you know what, I may not want to do it. Because I have enough characters at 55. I'm in no rush. I have characters that can do the content from the get-go, or start it. And like you just mentioned a while ago, Fred, that you actually have characters you actually want to enjoy the story. I mean, for myself too, I have other characters, like especially my gunslinger, my shadow. Okay, just to mention two of them, because I have never completed the Jedi Council storyline, and I've yet to complete the Smuggler storyline.
Well, I have a certain pool of characters that have not and will not be played during 12 times XP because they're waiting for when it's over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do that because I actually want to see the entire storyline. I want to enjoy it at my own pace. Without the 12 times kicking in there and moving me up past everything. So I just wish they could turn that off. But back to my original point, major class agents coming in less than a month, and for the most part, we're still guessing. Right, we're still throwing darts blindfolded at the board. I mean, give us something. Give the player base something to say, all right, this is what's going to impact you the most. I mean, we have it now. The dev blogs that they've released so far at least give you what's happening to the, I think the first one, the Command on the Mercenary. So you have an idea what's going on there, which is good.
I think that the blogs are going to accompany the streams because that's the first classes that they really covered.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect that we're going to see the blogs coming out as they do the streams.
Right, I think the next one is this Thursday, if I remember correctly. So, hopefully by Friday, Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Eric or Tate or Hillary will release the coming dev blog for that, which I'm looking forward to. Hopefully see that. And the last thing I did, actually, going back onto my Sentinel. So bit by bit, Doc is getting up there, getting as well outfitted as Kira. His stats, I'm making sure I'm taking his stats and balancing them out overall. And he's taking a beating longer in dailies. He's surviving, which is good. Because anytime what happened, of course, since he's healing and when he draws aggro, it's pretty hard for me to not pretty hard, but sometimes he just won't last. I can only take a few hits and he just dies. So he's doing a lot better. Doc is surviving. And as such, he's healing me for more. So He's getting up there, and I'll probably end up using him like I use Quinn on my Marauder. Yeah, he'll just become the default companion now. Even though I love using Kira, my Sentinel.
I love that I just vomited on my robes and Treek's licking it off of them. She likes her oatmeal warm.
Oh my god.
And speaking of Trooper, I just want to end up with my Vanguard. I've actually been looking.
Who mentioned a Trooper?
I did. I've been looking at all the older content, especially the heroics on all the other planets. I'm going back to do them again just for the gear. Especially for the Trooper.
You saying that? I've been wearing the same armor since like level 15. I've just put some new stuff in it occasionally when I get it or when I can afford it.
They send you for free in the mailbox that lights up.
No. That was like gloves and shoes and belt, which I ended up getting upgrades for anyway. So I ended up giving those to Art. But Lou, I don't know how far you've gotten in the Trooper story. I just want to throw that out there. There's a companion quest for Arik. It has nothing to do with romance. It's just an affection quest where you're on Hoth. It actually sends you into Drelic's excavation site. So you go into the same cave that the Sith Inquisitor goes into for Talos Drelic as a companion.
Yes, I've been there.
I went in there, I was like, wait, what? And I realized where I was. I was like, maybe I'll get to shoot him in the head. It didn't happen.
The quest is called Have My Kittens.
Listen, I don't like cats. He's lucky he's on the ship.
Oh, I'd have his litter, and then I put him in a sack and throw him in the river.
Oh, that's an awful thing to say. Don't be mean.
Send all hate mail to Fred at
Send
Sith
all
Lord
hate mail to johnsuper@gmail.com.
But anyway, that's my week.
Fred, what did you do what'd you do this week in game?
I can't remember most of it. I know that I played for the entire week. And when it was all said and done, I came out of it with a 55 gunslinger.
I told you, that's why I keep those notes. I have to, or I forget.
Well, I finished McKeb for the second time on the Republic side with Paige.
Ooh.
It was a little bit different with her making some dark side decisions. I ran Forged Alliances with you guys, and we talked about that earlier. Been on 4 hours in the Flashpoint. Last part of it was the hardest because it was definitely a DPS check. I finished Chapter 1 of my Mercenary, and I started Chapter 2, and I gotta say, the entire time that I've played SWTOR, I never really invested much time on a bounty hunter before.
Yeah, same here. I mean, that's my third story that I haven't finished yet, because I just, for some reason, I just haven't gotten around to doing the bounty hunter.
I mean, I literally never even finished Chapter 1 on a bounty hunter before. I've never been motivated to play a bounty hunter for some reason. And as a result of that, I'm playing through the story now, and I'm thinking it's amazing because I've had zero expectations for this story. And I'm having a blast. The only thing I don't like about it is Mako. Not her as a character so much, because I don't care. Like, her personality is fine. But it seems like any time that I say anything that like stands up for myself or shows that I'm not a wimp, I lose affection with her.
I was gonna say
you're kinder than I am, because I don't like her at all for that reason, and because I think she's a crybaby. She whines about everything, and I just want to backhand her all the time.
I don't even care about her constantly whining about how much she misses Brayden or anything like that. Like, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is, in order to get along with Mako and have her not hate you, you pretty much have to be a spineless coward. You have to make every light side decision, which is fine. My guy is light side. I'm making light side choices. But if I even talk tough, I lose her affection. It's terrible.
Yeah, I noticed that too, because I know I made a couple of choices, or dialogue choices, where I saw the same thing. Like, wait a minute. That wasn't, to me, that wasn't rude or mean or crass. It was just, hey, it's me saying, like you said, sticking up for yourself, or saying, hey, no, that's not what we're doing. and all of a sudden, -1, -10. Like, what?
That's what I'm saying. I think they programmed Mako in as a joke. Like anything you say just automatically loses affection with her. She's like a leaky bucket.
And it's like the way that you put it. It's like, Mako, do you understand what we're trying to do here? You're trying to help me become winner of the Great Hunt. The biggest badass bounty hunter in the galaxy, and you want me to say something like this? It doesn't help quite. Yeah, it doesn't help the image that we're trying to make here.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be such a badass, and then you have her going around with you.
She won't be going around with me for long. I'm a mercenary healer, and she's a healer, so it's not going to work out with me and Mako.
Well, the thing is, my power tech is a tank, so it's like, I have to. Well, I don't have to, but
get Drake.
Goopa Noopa.
Yeah, Drake. Or you know what? I'll figure out a way. I'll make the combo between me and Blizz work.
Lou, I know for a fact you have a character. Your legacy level is over 40 on Jedi Covenant, right?
Yes, 47 right now.
Exactly. Just do dailies like you do all the time anyway. Save up 1 million credits and buy the treat contract, 4 credits in the Cartel Bazaar. You won't go back. Tell you right now. Ditch Mako. Get the little Ewok.
I don't know. You make Treek seem pretty awful on the show.
She doesn't need my help with that.
That's true.
Look,
I mean,
eating the buttons off your winter coat.
whose coat? My coat?
Yes,
Where's my gun?
the red one. Look.
Where's
at
my
it.
blaster?
Oh, it's just a scarf now. She ate the rest of it.
Goopa Noopa.
Shh, get my blaster.
If you want your blaster, you need to reach in there and grab it.
In where?
In there.
No, I don't want it.
That's what I thought.
Anyway, I was making plans to actually go back to Jedi Covenant and level some characters up this last week. It didn't happen. I got completely derailed over on Shadowlands still. But now that Gunslinger's 55, I'm definitely going back to Jedi Covenant this week and doing something over there. Although it's rough because I have characters that I've pegged on Jedi Covenant that I want to get to 55 during 12 times XP. And I still have a couple more pet projects on Shadowlands that I want to level up too. So it'll be interesting to see where my time falls over the next week.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, especially since tomorrow's bounty contract week.
I may opt out of bounty contract week just this month because it's the last point of 12 times XP, and I'm sure next month I'm not going to have anything to do during that week.
Bring back the greed.
I have a feeling it'll be coming, Lou. It has to be like next up on the docket.
I sincerely hope so. Cross my fingers.
So, Paige, what do you got for our Star Wars recommendation of the week?
For those interested in actually getting a look at the recommendation of the week, I will be posting a link with a photo on the Facebook wall after the show is released to iTunes, which I don't remember if I did that last week, and I'll check that when we are done recording.
You probably didn't, but don't feel bad because we didn't announce that the show was released on Facebook either.
Oh, my bad. This week, the recommendation comes from our friends over at thinkgeek.com. A lot of our recommendations come from there because they have lots of amazing things. But I'm going to read the description. Here at ThinkGeek, we pride ourselves on offering nifty products covering all aspects of the Empire Strikes Back story. Last year, we launched the coveted Tauntaun sleeping bag, allowing children of all ages to nestle safe in the guts of a Tauntaun. And that was one of my recommendations of the week, if you remember.
Wait, why children? What about adults?
The picture was actually an adult in Tauntaun. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta be a little kid. I like to lay in guts.
It sounds creepier when you talk about children laying in guts.
Shriek sleeps in guts all the time.
Oh, God. Hose her down. Okay. I'm going to continue. Now, as a sort of product-based prequel, we give you this amazing bear rug-style Wampa. As you may recall from Empire, before Luke was preserved inside of a dead Tauntaun, he had a fight with a hideous Wampa snow beast in the mountains of Hoth. Now, you can catch your own Wampa and take him home to decorate your swank bachelor pad. The Star Wars fangirls will love this high-quality synthetic fur, plush pillow head, and fearsome claws. It's like a bear rug. You lay it on your floor, and it's a Wampa. And I love it. I want it now. It's pretty expensive, though. I forget the price. I think it was $129.
I was going to say, I'm glad they put that in there. Star Wars fangirl. Otherwise, it's just going to scare.
It does a little bit, to me, look like the abominable snowman from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer animation thing.
Okay.
Do you see that a little bit?
And of course, when you click on the product page, they have a girl in a slave girl outfit laying on this rug.
Oh, of course.
That gives you the
brilliant marketing.
impression. That gives you the impression that if you buy this rug, someone, meaning a lady sort, might actually like you. It would work on me. I'd be like, is that a Wampa? Or is that the abominable snowman? Either way, you got me. I'm here now.
I want a tree skin rug.
That would be like a bathroom rug. It would be so tiny.
Yeah,
If you look at this Wampa, it basically looks like Treek, but white.
And it looks like the abominable.
Look at the face. It has a Treek face. It just needs buck teeth.
That's awful.
Maranacho.
Yep.
Tawaninga. There's also a picture on this website that a user submitted of their child hanging upside down with the Wampa there.
Oh,
Yes.
jeez.
It's to the right if anyone's going to follow that link. You should make that the show art.
It's like getting attacked by Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah.
Oh, I just scrolled down. Is that a child?
I think so.
That's a very, very tall child. Maybe I'm just a very tiny adult.
And on that note, Lou, what do you have for the intelligence report this week?
Oh, all right. This week, we continue with part 4 with lightsaber combat. Yes, this topic is pretty long, folks. So buckle up. Here we go. This week, our first topic is going to be about marks of contact. All Jedi forms involve the same marks of contact, describing the objectives, maneuvers to use, and the various outcomes that could arise out of a fight involving lightsabers as weapons. They help focus the Jedi's attacks and defenses on a few clearer categories, rather than diffusing awareness across the infinite number of possibilities in a duel. And unfortunately, folks, in my notes I actually have a diagram of a Jedi Knight and the actual diagram of all the lines of attack that an opponent would use on that person. So, the first mark of contact. The Sun Gem. The Sun Gem was the act of disarming the opponent, the objective usually being not to physically harm him or her. The classic Shicho move, the disarming slash, was specialized towards executing the Sun Gem. Sheem. The Sheem was a more minute wound to an opponent by the edge of a lightsaber blade. The Sheem could be applied anywhere in the body and was not specific to any zone. Chomai. The Chomai was an amputation to an opponent's weapon hand, as we've all seen in Empire, in Jedi and other movies. Chosun. The Chosun was the amputation of an opponent's weapon arm. Chomok. The Chomok was the amputation of an opponent's limb, such as a humanoid's arm or leg. The Shiak. The Shiak was the act of stabbing an opponent. The Sai Cha. The Sai Cha was the decapitation of the opponent. Being a side swipe at an opponent's side and neck, the Sai Cha corresponded with his own 2 and 3 attack. The Sai Tak. The Sai Tak was the act of cutting an opponent in half, usually separating his or her legs from the torso at the waist, but vertical bisections corresponding with Zone 1 attacks were not unheard of. Darth Maul. The Muke. The Muke was an attack that dismembered an opponent through a circular motion of the lightsaber, aiming at the major limbs. Muke lashed out in multiple body zones. Darth Vader's dismemberment on Mustafar could be considered a triple Cholmok, as he amputated both of his legs and his left arm. Wow, just imagine that, folks. The ready stances. While all the lightsaber forms had their own unique opening and ready stances, a number of positions were standard to lightsaber combat in general. And the first one being Jedi Ready. Having much in common with the Ataru Guard, the Jedi Ready was the most common stance among Jedi. The dominant foot was held back, with the blade in a vertical parry position on the dominant side. The defensive neutral. The differences between the defensive neutral and the Jedi Ready were negligible. The blade was still held in a parry position on the dominant side, though the feet were evenly spaced rather than one held back. This position was intended to provide the maximum amount of blade surface area for blast deflection, and also to maximize its visual impact as a warning. The offensive neutral. The feet were evenly spaced, with the blade pointing towards the enemy. The stance was intended to provide the minimum visual blade area for target and tracking. Center of Being. The center of being was a stance used in lightsaber combat. It could also be used for meditation. The stance was used by members of the old Jedi Order. Users of this stance would hold the lightsaber horizontally with the lightsaber hilt just below the chin. Now on to moves and maneuvers, and these are just some maneuvers that are associated with lightsaber combat. The Jung. The Jung was a 180-degree turn. The Jung Ma was a 360-degree spin used to build momentum for an attack. The Shun. The Shun was a 360-degree spin during which the lightsaber was held one-handed. Sai. The Sai was the act of overleaping an attack of the legs. Flowing water. The flowing water cut was a technique based on the principle of using the space created where the opponent withdrew the lightsaber offensively to one's advantage. As the opponent pulled the lightsaber back from bind, the user would follow it with their blade, in effect causing the opponent to pull the user's blade into themselves. The falling leaf. The falling leaf cut was an ancient move that involved the user spinning and making a fast slash at an opponent, staying behind them, and then return to face the way they were before the maneuver. It was described as spinning 1 feet to slash from the sky. Dulan. The Dulan was a lightsaber move where the hilt's pommel would be held at one's midsection with the blade 30 degrees up and would be slashed at high velocity. The name Dulan was also referred to solo lightsaber training. The Kai Kan. The Kai Kan was not a maneuver per se, but rather a reenactment of a prior lightsaber duel. And now we move on to form-specific maneuvers. As each of the lightsaber combat forms was self-contained martial arts styles, they each possess moves and maneuvers unique to them. So, we start with Form 1, Shi Cho, the disarming slash. It was a strike directed at the opponent's weapon in an attempt to rip it out of their grasp or destroy it. We've all seen that. Return of the Jedi, where Luke takes off, or pretty much chops Boba Fett's weapon in half. The Sarlacc Sweep, a wide sweeping attack in which the duelist struck against multiple enemies. Form 2, Makashi. And this move is Contentious Opportunity. This was a tactic based upon recognizing and exploiting an opening in the opponent's defense before swiftly moving to strike the exposed enemy. The Makashi Riposte, a defensive technique where the duelist slightly alters the angle of an opponent's attack before quickly retaliating with a counterstrike. Form 3, Soresu, the Circle of Shelter. This was a technique where the duelist creates a protected area around themselves and their allies, making it difficult for enemies to penetrate. The Deflecting Slash, a technique where the duelist redirects the momentum generated by deflecting an enemy projectile into a slashing attack at an adjacent target. Form 4, Ataru, the Hawk Bat Swoop. This was intended to allow a combatant to quickly strike their opponent without giving them a chance to react. Saber Swarm. These were numerous short strikes that were aimed at the adversary. Form 5, Xian or Jianso, the Barrier of Blades. This defended the user from blaster fire and redirected some of the incoming blasts. Falling Avalanche. This was an overhand power blow that crashed down upon an opponent with incredible force. The Fluid Riposte. A smooth transition from parrying attack to a counter-strike. Xian Deflection. This will simultaneously deflect weapons fire and leap towards an opponent. Form 6. Neiman. The move is called Draw Closer. This consisted of the duelist telekinetically seizing an opponent and pulling the enemy into the path of his or her blade. Pushing Slash. The duelist would slash an opponent before blasting him aside with a force push. I wish that was in the game. It'd be pretty cool, that and Draw Closer. Form 7, Juyo or Vapad. Assured Strike. This was trading sheer power for near certainty of landing a hit. Foursquare's Ferocity. This move involved ferocious attacking of an opponent, or an aggressive style. The Swift Flank. The user leaped or dashed around an opponent to make a quick strike. The speed of the maneuver was intended to catch opponents off guard. Tempered Aggression. Used to describe the ferocity of the Vapad form, but with more control against coming to the dark side even in the heat of battle. And here are some other independent maneuvers. This one's called Sokan. Sokan had two techniques. One was called the High Ground Defense. This usually involves environment. Combatants will make use of large amounts of terrain, trying to maneuver their opponents into vulnerable areas during the course of battles. That involves Sokan techniques. The Unhindered Charge. Rapid movement towards the opponent, ignoring difficult terrain and obstacles. And now we go on to Jarkai. Jarkai had at least two moves. One was which the Twin Strike, a dual-wielding strike that the character simultaneously swings both lightsabers to act as a strong attack. Both lightsabers meet the target or object. And if you play a Sentinel Marauder, you will see that kind of attack. The Rising Whirlwind. A duelist swings his lightsabers around his body, creating a brilliant whirlwind. The next area we go to is called Trikata. And Trikata had two attacks. One was which was Pass the Blade. There, the duelist deactivated his blade as he attacks, bypassing the opponent's block before igniting it into the hapless foe. Unbalancing Block. Here, the duelist caught the opponent's blade with his own before momentarily deactivating it, causing the opponent to stumble and leave himself open. And the last maneuver, Trip Zest, which had one attack, which this is called the Spinning Attack. The flying duelist would hover in one spot and spin wildly, lashing out at multiple opponents. And this concludes Lightsaber Combat Part 4. Next week, we're going to pick up with training methods. And as always, I would like to say thank you to the Wikipedia, StarWars.com, TheForce.net, and other Star Wars lore sites for having all this information out there. Folks, if you enjoy the Star Wars lore as much as I do, please visit any one of these sites, look up your favorite topics, and enjoy.
Nice. I really like that Pass the Blade ability.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm doing, doing this topic and reading more and more into it as the weeks go on, these are moves that we do see in the game, whether it's SWTOR, whether you play Galaxies, Star Wars Galaxies, or if you've played the older Jedi Knight games, especially Jedi Academy.
Pass the Blade really sounds dirty, though, because it's like you go to block, and I'm swinging at you. You think you're going to block it. I turn off my lightsaber, go underneath yours, and then turn mine on and drive it up into you.
That actually is used. I know if folks correct me if I'm wrong, write in, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know in the EU, especially with the Yuzhang Vong War, all right, that's how Karn Horn defeats his, I forgot which book it was, his number one opponent, his main nemesis in the story. Because remember, the Yuzhang Vong, their snake staves are actually impervious, or mostly impervious to lightsabers. So what happens is that Karn actually figures a way to defeat his opponent by actually doing that move. He took the hit from his opponent's snake staff full in the body, and then he activated his lightsaber afterward, because remember, his lightsaber is now deactivated. He pushed up his weapon against his opponent's body, and then he activated the blade.
Ooh. That's like some Zaraki Kenpachi stuff right there.
Yeah, it's like taking one for the team, but then you actually won in the end anyway.
Fred, that was totally something that we watched together. Remember with the blind guy? Tangent, but you know what I'm talking about. Yes. Can I just say, like, if anyone from BioWare is listening, just listening to this lore segment makes me want them to put all of these things in the game. Like, they sound so cool. Like, I agree, the Pass to Blade, I want to be able to do that to people.
Yeah, and the 2 moves, like you move up, if you scroll up the notes, from Form 6 from Neiman. Draw closer or pushing slash. Draw closer. Imagine if a sorcerer or Sith warrior, or the Inquisitor or the warrior, had the ability to pull you into the lightsaber blade.
It would be rad.
If they're going to do that, would have to be one of those abilities that you can only use when the opponent's at like under 10% life as a finisher.
Finishing move. Yeah, same thing with pushing slash. That pushing slash would be great for the Jedi Knight and the Consular, where after the Knight or Consular attacks or slashes or stabs their opponent, that's when they use Force Push as a combo to do more damage. That would be amazing.
Rad.
That'd be badass.
Right on.
The possibilities. And that takes us into the community holo feed.
Yes, it does, where we will cover your emails, tweets, and Facebook feedback. And our first item, remember, the trivia question of the week. Each week, we're going to post a trivia question into our YouTube video version of the show. Simply go to StarWarsBeyond.com, and we'll link you right to the episode. On the episode page, there will be a button you press to see the trivia question of the week. Alternatively, it'll always be after we say our goodbyes. Then, shoot us an email with your answer to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. And in the email, please include your character name, your faction.
Your what?
Faction, please.
Your what?
your character's faction. As well as the server you play on. If there's more than one correct answer, we'll do a random drawing to win a cartel pack. And I usually stick that duty out to Fred or Paige, folks, so blame them if you don't win. Anyway, everyone that answers correctly will be entered into a drawing for a much larger prize, which we'll draw on the show every few months. You can be entered into the grand prize drawing every time you answer correctly.
Wait, blame me for what? Because I missed that.
Usually what I do is I don't choose. If we have more than one winner, I usually leave that up to Fred.
Then why am I getting brought into this?
Oh, now you did.
Because you feed on people's tears.
I'm like, tell me who lost so I can laugh in their face. No, that's not
We
what
should be getting close to our first grand prize giveaway soon.
Yes, actually we should.
We're at episode 12.
Getting close. Not quite.
We'll do BioWare soon. Trademark.
Yeah.
TM, folks, soon. So, unfortunately, for the past week, we did receive answers. However, no one was correct this time around. Close. Ouch. Yeah, but no one actually guessed it. So, what's going to happen is that we'll chalk this one up. I'll give everyone the answer for this one, and we'll just carry on. I do have a new question at the end of the show. So, last week's trivia question. The answer was, it's Lumia, the Dark Lady of the Sith.
Can I just say, when you were like, I'm going to give the answer to this week or last week's, somehow I imagined someone listening to the show and them going, no, just because they wanted to guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, people did write in, but unfortunately, no one guessed it correctly. And for those who are not familiar with this character comes from the EU, the expanded universe for Star Wars. So, especially those who have read the New Jedi Order. Okay, Lumia is actually she's the Lady of the Sith. All right, she is the one who will corrupt and turn Jason Solo into the new Lord of the Sith. All right, she passes on the mantle to him. The Sith. So we all know what happens. Pretty much guess what happens there. But she's the one who will lead events. She will actually shape events, like Palpatine did for the Downfall of Jedi. She will corrupt Jason over time when he's still a full-fledged member of the Jedi, when he's still out there doing good, but she will involve the Sith and the Empire into doing things within the galaxy that will call Jason to question what the Republic and the Jedi are doing. So it's all that doubt that she places into his mind that eventually leads her to finally be able to corrupt him, because now, with all that in his head, and then not knowing a clear path of what to do, she's able to turn to the dark side, and now we have a new Dark Lord of the Sith, Jason Solo.
Yay! I mean, I don't know. What should I be doing right now?
All right, and the reason why I brought this up is because when you do read her character, folks, I mean, you actually see her in the graphic novels and some of the comics too, and some illustrations. She actually is one of Vader's apprentices, by the way. All right, we have Starkiller, but Lemia she was one of them as well, and she actually is one of the better ones.
Wait a minute, didn't Starkiller kick Vader's ass twice?
Yes.
Well, Starkiller and then Starkiller's clone.
Mm-hmm.
Vader really got lame in the expanded universe.
Yeah, and that's what some folks have said over the course of time. Yeah, he became weaker, even though he was, he's still a pretty amazing fighter. In the end, his apprentices would get the better of him, and Lumia was, she wasn't alone in that. The fact that she was still pretty powerful, but just like her master, over time she became more mechanical than organic. And when you actually look her up on the Wikipedia or on the Star Wars site, you'll actually see her change over time. She actually started off as a beautiful, beautiful woman. Talented pilot. I mean, hell, she was part of Rogue Squadron at one point. All right, this is before she turned. Well, not she turned. She was actually an agent. She was a Sith agent at the time. She infiltrated the Alliance and joined Rogue Squadron. Because her mission there was to kill Luke Skywalker.
Isn't that everybody's mission?
Yeah, that's pretty much everyone's mission anyway.
My mission.
But over time, yeah, she would join the Alliance, she would join the Rebellion, she would join the New Republic when it was formed, and then, she would try and kill Luke. Obviously it failed, but then once that happened, that's what happened. She actually became more cybernetic because she failed in her mission to kill Luke. When she tried, she failed, and pretty much ended up like Anakin on Mustafar. She had to be saved by being mechanically replaced. A lot of her body had to be replaced by cybernetic parts.
When will they ever learn?
All the things the Force can do, and they still can't regrow limbs.
That is correct. I mean, yeah, that's pretty... You think about it, it actually is pretty wild. Pretty wild concept, the fact that the Force can't regenerate stuff like that. Or, you know what? The Sith can't regenerate things like that. Let's put it that way.
Maybe you have to have a bond to the light side to do something like that.
Well, when you look at all the stories...
Then again, Anakin was light side when he got that Denny's claw hand.
Well, he lost his entire hand, though. But I know in the other stories, like Luke, he's actually able to fully heal people, or heal himself and not cause any scarring. But it doesn't involve amputations, though. So who knows? Maybe it's a limitation.
Luke still hasn't been able to give his own hand back, has he?
Nope. He still has a cybernetic hand.
That's gotta suck when you go through the airport.
He's Grand Master. He doesn't go through security. It's pass.
I mean, let's be realistic here. Luke should have just joined forces with his father, then Vader would have never have died, and they could have ruled the galaxy together as father and son.
But eventually, falling into the old Sith mantra, apprentice got to supersede the master one day.
Well, that's true, but neither one of them necessarily had to be the apprentice or the master, because Luke was a fully trained Jedi at that point.
Good
Remember,
point.
Vader said, your training is complete. You fashion your own lightsaber. So at that point, they would have just been two Sith Lords. And then
I will be the one. Sorry.
Wow. I am nobody's apprentice. You are mine.
I like how you changed it so you could say it on the show, because I was thinking it.
Oh, yeah. So, Paige, what's going on in the SWOTOR community?
In your SWOTOR community, you can check out these up-to-date podcast episodes. ToroCast, episode 220, posted on November 10th on ToroCast.com. Corellian Run Radio, episode 131, available on CorellianRun.com since November the 4th. UntiniCast, episode 174, is available at UntiniCast.com since November the 6th. SWTOR Escape Podcast, episode 63, is available at newoverlords.com since November the 4th. Old Republic Radio, episode 85, available on iTunes since November the 3rd. Healing SWTOR released another episode on November the 6th to iTunes. Enmity Podcast, episode 58, released on November 10th to iTunes. And the Bad Feeling Podcast, episode 39, posted on November 6th to iTunes. And badfeelingpodcast.com. Be warned, that is an explicit podcast. Also follow Madmar at SWTOR Family for the latest happenings in the SWTOR community. If you'd like to have your podcast listed on this segment, send us an email at StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com.
Yeah, we actually have a couple interesting things going on with the podcasting community. UtiniCast is doing their UtiniCast Cantina event this weekend because we all know what BioWare did with the Las Vegas Community Cantina event. Mm-hmm. So they are doing their own week early when it was originally scheduled to happen. So they're planning on doing a live recording of the show. So their next episode, hopefully, should be that. So we'll get to hear everybody that turned up for that. And the Bad Feeling Podcast guys are actually doing something that I haven't heard done in the community for quite a while. And they're talking about PvP on their show and how new players can get involved in the PvP in SWTOR. And they're actually calling the segment PvP-ness.
That shouldn't be funny, but it is.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
PvP-ness.
Yeah, you can tune in there to listen to all about their PvP-ness.
SWTOR PvP-ness, folks.
Yeah. Of course, SWTOR PvP-ness. And you can find out more about our show at StarWarsBeyond.com. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast. You can email us, StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. You can tweet us. The show is at StarWarsBeyond. I am at SithLordCorv. Lou is at GamerGuy11B, and Paige is at Asaphiry. ASAPHIRY. And now it's time for our final thoughts.
My final thought is that I kind of can't wait to get over to Jedi Covenant and do some work over there, because I got lots to do.
As for me, I can't wait for tomorrow. Bounty Contract Week. Gotta get that reputation up. Gotta finish it. Almost there. Plus, folks, remember, this Thursday, November 13th, the live stream for the Inquisitor and Consular changes 3.0. Hopefully we'll be there on the live stream.
PvP-ness.
That's your final thought.
Beyond the Stars is an independently recorded fan podcast made in association with NSG Productions. And now it's time to say goodnight.
Good night, everybody. Happy Veterans Day, especially to my favorite Imperial Agent, Lou.
Aw, thank you, Paige. As always, folks, glad you could join us. Hope to see you again next time.
Happy Veterans Day, Lou. And to all of our veteran listeners out there. And big thank you to Brian and Chuck for coming up with PvP-ness segment, making the end of our show very much enjoyable as we shout you out. And good night, everyone, and we will see you next week. I know this episode was just a tiny bit shorter than usual because we didn't have a discussion topic, but we should be back to our usual format again next week. We just wanted to hurry up and put it out there so Lou can enjoy his Veterans Day.
You better be going to Panera tomorrow, Lou.
Yeah, show your U.S. military and Imperial military cards and get a pick 4.
It's pick 2.
And then when you're done with that, you can go to Perkins and get a free meal.
And if you have handles, you can get free ice cream.
And give it to me. Good night.
You've served your purpose.
Beyond the Stars trivia question for the week of November 10th, 2014. First clue. We were old, long before the Jedi or the Sith came into existence. Second clue. During our time, we would conquer and explore the entire galaxy, forcing the lesser races into slavery. Third clue. Some races feared us so much, they retreated from star exploration and reverted back to simpler technology. Fourth clue. In building our legacy, we would inadvertently spread other species around the galaxy. Fifth clue. Monuments to our vanity were not confined to the small scale. We would move stars, planets, and systems to our whims. Who am I? And remember, folks, please send your answer to our Gmail account, StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. Please include your character name, your faction, and the server you play on. Good luck, everyone. Looking forward to seeing all your answers.